I'd like to call this meeting of the Show Low City Council to order, show that all council members are present. Tonight I've asked Councilman Judd to lead us in the invocation, followed by Councilman Clark to lead us in the pledge. If you'd like to stand and join us, please.
Our Heavenly Father, we're grateful for this opportunity we have to meet together tonight for our city council meeting. We're grateful for our many blessings for this beautiful town we have to live in. We're grateful for our first responders, our police officers and firefighters, our military personnel. And we ask that thou will bless them and watch over and protect them. We're grateful for our city staff, all that they do to help our city to be beautiful and take care of it, to help our city to run and maintain. We're grateful for everything that we have, and we pray that this evening as we make decisions that we will do it according to thy will. And we say these things in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman Judd. Councilman Clark, appreciate that. Next item on the agenda is call to the public. Any citizen desire to speak on a matter that's within the jurisdiction of the City Council may do so at this time. Comments may be limited to 3 minutes per person and shall be addressed to the City Council as a whole and not to any individual member. Issues raised shall be limited to those within the jurisdiction of the City Council. Pursuant to Arizona open meeting law, the City Council cannot discuss or act on items presented at this time. At the conclusion of the call to the public, individual City Council may respond to criticism made by those who have spoken, ask staff to review a matter, ask the member to put on a future agenda. Tonight I have one person, Mr. Roberts. You're hiding back there. I couldn't even find you.
He sat closer tonight.
Huh?
He sat closer.
Thank you, Council. Did you see how fast I came up?
Hey, that was good. We gotta move these meetings along.
It's been almost 4 weeks since we had our car show, but this is the first opportunity we've had to say thank you to the city for all of their support. Public Works, the police department, the council, all the facilities, special Parks and Rec, and all of the special departments that had to be involved with for the special event meetings. The event went off extremely well. Thank you to the church for allowing us to use. We had 367 cars in the parking lot. And we had more that joined in along the way on our cavalcade down to Pinetop. And we believe that the crowd that we saw from here down to there was the largest that we've ever seen. We also believe that the crowds that came in and visited us in the car show on Saturday were the largest we've ever seen. The weather was perfect, everything went well, and it was largely due to the support of the city of Show Low and the city of Pinetop, the town of Pinetop. And we especially want to thank Public Works and the police department here because they did an exceptional job in helping us with everything. So that said, you didn't even start my timer.
You know what 3 minutes means. So
I do. So on a different subject, I understand that the community fast is coming up again this year and somebody's going to be talking on that tonight. I'm really thankful that our community can come together like that. So thanks for all your help.
All righty, next item on the agenda is presentation of the snow management plan. Mr. Austin. You act so excited.
Oh, yeah, about once a year like this. All right, good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. Staff would like to take this opportunity to present the 23-24 snow plan. During a snow event, the city's 215 lane miles of streets is split into 14 routes and 28 plow operators, responsible for clearing and de-icing the streets. When a call-out is necessary, up to 14 of the 28 drivers will simultaneously, wow, I got that one out, begin plowing their assigned routes. The map on the screen, is there a map? Depicts the 14 routes that are usually followed by the drivers during the snow event. Our primary equipment consists of 4 10-wheel dump trucks, 2 6-wheel dump trucks, 3 loaders with plows, and several pickup trucks for the plowing of cul-de-sacs and smaller right-of-ways. In conjunction with the streets operations, the Parks Facilities Maintenance Team, led by Mikey Mariscal, will start cleaning the sidewalks and parking lots at all the city-owned buildings, which include the Police Department, City Hall, Bus Barn, Aquatic Center, Senior Center, Library, Museum, Cemetery, City Campus, Streetscape on the Deuce of clubs, and several parks and parks trails. The primary equipment for this department consists of 4 pickup trucks, 2 side-by-sides equipped with plows, 2 tractors equipped with gannons, front loaders, and of course several snow shovels. Prior to an official event, shift leader Ryan Hall, Mikey, or myself will be out assessing the need for deployment of equipment and personnel for snow clearing or de-icing operations. Snow removals are classified into 4 levels. Level 1 is reserved for 1/2 inch to 2 inches of snow. When the snow starts to fall, Ryan, Mikey, and I will start monitoring the streets and facilities for any slick areas that may need immediate treatment of cinders or de-icer in the areas that were pre-approved by council. Level 2 is reserved for 2 to 3 inches of snowfall. At this point, Public Works is out making sure all school bus routes, collector streets, transit routes, and city-owned parking lots remain open by a combination of light plowing and cinder spreading. At this point, Shift B, led by Jeremiah Johnson, is being placed on standby for a full call-out. Level 3 is reserved for 3 or more inches of snow and triggers a full call-out of 2 12-hour shifts, Shift A and Shift B, supervised by Ryan and Jeremiah. Public Works will continue snow removal operations until the streets are open and passable for traffic. After the snow has ceased to fall, the streets will be widened curb to curb by Public Works. This next step is to follow a predetermined sidewalk list that is in the snow plan, including City Hall, parking, and entire downtown area. Level 4 is reserved for a severe event that triggers a haul off of snow that impedes traffic and rescue services to pre-approved dump sites. The last function of the snow plan is a courtesy removal of snow berms for the elderly and disabled citizens of the city. When a resident has successfully submitted a snow berm removal form with a doctor's statement that the applicant is physically unable to perform the act of shoveling snow, the city will return to the pre-approved locations for snow berm removal. A snow berm removal form is available upon request at City of Show Low City Hall by calling Public Works Department at 928-532-4100 or by downloading the form online at www.showlowaz.gov. The current approved number of snow berm removal applicants is 132, which, by the way, is the largest we've ever had in the last 9 years I've been here. During a snow event, the airport will be conducting braking action tests on the runway with a Beaumont AFM2 decelerometer or equivalent to determine what action needs to take place to keep the airport functional. As the need arises, additional resources and manpower may be rotated to assist the snow removal process at the airport. Staff has created a policy regarding mailbox damage due to snowplow operations, as they recognize that the post office regularly has our residents put their mailbox in the city right-of-way in order to deliver mail to them. The city has a mailbox permitting policy that gives the citizens direction on materials that can be used and where the mailbox can be placed. This permit can be obtained at the City Hall's Planning and Zoning Department. If a resident feels their mailbox is damaged by snow operations, the resident must immediately report the damage to the Public Works Department at 928-532-4100 or email us at bhines@showlowaz.gov. To have a city representative verify the damage is indeed due to snowplow operations and not for other reasons like rotted posts, pre-existing conditions that is documented by the Public Works Department during pre-snow operation inspections. If it has been determined that the mailbox was indeed damaged solely by snowplow operations, the citizens has the option to make a claim to the city, have the city replace the mailbox or fix it themselves. and submit a receipt to the city for up to $125 of reimbursement. Please remember, the city will not replace specialty mailboxes. Thank you, and do you have any questions for me?
Thank you, Rick, and thank you guys for everything you do at 1 and 2 in the morning. We're all cozy in our beds. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Very, very awesome job that we probably never thank you enough.
Yeah, I just want to echo what the mayor's saying. You know, a lot of times we hear from the public, we hear from our constituents, and I don't think I've had anybody come to me and complain about our roads crew, our water and sewer team, and that's a reflection on you, Rick, and also the supervisors that you have, and all the way down to our entry-level employees. So I want to thank you and the hard work that you do. I think it's on a regular basis, we get citizens coming in and telling us what a great job you and your crews are doing. So I want you to hopefully send that expression down to to each of our citizens who work for the city of Shoal in the Public Works Department, and let them know how much we appreciate them. It makes us as a council look good, even though, you know, it's you and your team who's doing the work. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And it'll be done first thing in the morning.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions,
Rick.
comments?
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it. Okay, next item on the agenda is consent calendar. We'll entertain a motion to proclaim by the mayor proclaiming November 12th through the 18th, 2023 as Community Fast of Compassion for Those in Need Week in City of Show Low. Proclaimed by the mayor, proclaiming October 15th through the 21st, 2023 as Arizona Cities and Towns Week. Consider of a non-commercial ground lease for Desert Fish Aviation LLC and terminate of a second addendum of a non-commercial ground lease. Consideration of purchase a Barracuda web and email filter system. A lot of considerations here. Consideration of authorization to purchase a Caterpillar 926 loader. Consideration of acceptance of the Show Low public restroom. Consideration of the minutes of the Show Low City Council, October 19th, also September 19th, or October 19th, 2022, and September 19th, 2023. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion, and it's got a second. All those in favor? All those opposed, same sign. At this time, I'll have the clerk, maybe, read the proclamation for me, please.
Mayor and Council. Whereas community service has always been part of America's as well as Show Low's heritage, and whereas the number of those in need in our area seems to be an always growing number, and the people of our community have always shown a sincere desire to help those in need, especially during the holiday season. And whereas a number of faith-based and other organizations approached the city of Show Low in 2013 with a plan to help those in need in our community. And whereas the city of Show Low embraced this concept, out of which was born the Community Fast of Compassion for Those in Need. And whereas the city of Show Low and its citizens have discovered that the Community Fast is a very worthwhile cause that has made a huge difference in the lives of many in our community. Now, therefore, John Leach Jr., Mayor, on behalf of the Show Low City Council, does hereby proclaim November 12th through the 18th, 2023, as Community Fast of Compassion for Those in Need Week, and urges all citizens of Show Low to come together for the 11th Annual Community Fast of Compassion for Those in Need, joining in setting aside one day during this week to fast and pray for guidance, grace, and protection for our great city and nation as we address the challenges of our time and the concerns of those in need. Donate the cost of 1 or 2 meals or more if possible from this fast to this worthy cause, with donations being accepted at Show Low City Hall, National Bank of Arizona, Chase Bank, the Arizona Central Credit Union, and online at showlowcommunityfast.org. And join us in a community celebration on Sunday, November 19th, 2023 at 5 p.m. at the Show Low District Auditorium. Thank you.
Appreciate that. We could have you come on up, Steve. Probably all of you. As long as all of you ain't talking, right? Don't make me start that clock. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
Just Steve Heckathorn, Living Faith Church. I live here in Show Low. But as being a part of this organization for the Community Fast for 11 years since its inception, one of the greatest things that ever happened was when the city of Show Low got involved with us and then helped us take this fast to another level. in relation to the number of people that we could meet, take care of, the needs that we could meet. And so we are ever grateful to the city of Show for its participation and its help and its full endorsement of this as a community event that involves every facet of our community. So from the bottom of our hearts to you, City of Show, thank you. You're helping a lot of people in need, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Mayor, with your permission, those that, if it's okay, I'll just briefly explain the history of the fast for those that
And then introduce her.
Right, yeah, so we have the Community Fast Committee here tonight. I'm Steve Williams, I'm just a middle-aged bald guy from here in Show Low. We have Kyle Beecroft from the National Bank of Arizona. He's also involved a little bit with the Chamber of Commerce, maybe more than a little bit. Pastor Steve Heckathorn. Ryan Goodman, he wears a couple of hats, he's a physician. He's also in a leadership position with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Rick Goodman's just a citizen that loves the Community Fast and came to support. Pastor Tom Brown, and then Principal Becky Clark, and Mayor, as well as on the Community Fast Committee. So that's the committee. We're in the 11th year of the fast. In the first 10 years, the community has raised more than $270,000. Every penny of that has been passed on through local organizations to help people in need during the holidays with things like rent, food, utilities, modest gifts, as those organizations see fit. So the money stays right here in our community. Businesses, there's several businesses that are very generous and support it. There's individuals that probably could use the donations themselves that go without a meal or two. There are people that aren't able to fast but still want to contribute, which is very touching. Each of the schools participates and benefits. Several of the churches here in the community participate. And really one of the highlights that we hope each of the council members and the citizens can come to is the Community Fast celebration. That's held on this year on Sunday, November 19th. So it's to wrap up the fast. It's at 5 p.m. Normally it's at 6, but this year we're going to do it at 5 p.m. Lasts about an hour. There's no cost. Come to the auditorium. There's some musical numbers from school groups and some churches. And then there's videos from organizations that received the donations last year. And they talk about how the donations were used and how it blessed individuals' lives. And it's worth coming for that. Like I said, it lasts an hour. Mayor usually shares a remark or two, and it's worth coming for that too. So, but we just want to thank the city council for your support of this. It's really touching every year, and really one of the highlights of my life has been to be involved in this. So we sure appreciate it. And I don't know if Pastor Tom Brown, if it's okay, may have it. Did you want to say anything, Pastor?
I would like to.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
I want to echo our thanks to the council, to Mayor Leach. The rest of you, we're very grateful for the support that you've given us in this community effort. I think back to the Rodeo Chittisky fire in 2002, and I believe that was one of the high points in Show Low's community sense. We came together, we helped each other, we encouraged one another, and everything we can do to continue that would be very helpful and wonderful for us. I believe the fast has been successful because it's given everybody in the community a chance to participate. You can be a shut-in and participate in the fast. You don't need to get up, go anywhere. You don't need to have to put a lot of effort into it. It's not something that you have to set aside a special time for. You can do it because it's something that each of us can commit to personally in our own lives. And skipping a meal or two during the week and contributing that money to the fast is a good thing. It gives us a connection to the community. And what the council needs to realize is that a tremendous number of people, children and adults, are helped by the money that's raised through this fast. And testimonies are given to that when we have the celebration on the 19th. So I'm just grateful. I appreciate your support. And like Steve said, this has been a kind of a high point in our lives. And we just want to see the city of Show Low and the surrounding communities continue to have this kind of community sense and fellowship.
Mayor, if people want to learn more, they can go to sholocommunityfast.org. And it's grown every year. Last year, more than $53,000 was donated compared to the first year, which was about $9,000. So it's just steadily grown. So with that, we're happy to answer any questions, but we just want to say thank you.
I can tell you, thank you for allowing me to be on that committee, because it kind of starts my season, it really does. And my wife asks me every time, because she sits in the audience and I go up there, she goes, "What are you going to say?" I said, "I have no idea. I really don't. I'm not that kind of speaker," which you probably have known, but God puts it in my heart when I walk up there. I really don't know what I'm going to say both times, but I've been blessed that hopefully I didn't babble too much. But it's amazing to look out at the people that show up for that, and they put it in your heart what to say. They really do, because they know how this community comes together for that event. So it's amazing. It really is. But it does start my holidays for sure.
It's a feel-good event. And if you want to feel connected to your neighbors, come on the 19th. So thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it very much. Next item before we get off the consent calendar, we're going to show a little video for, I think you guys will like it. I think you'll remember it from last year, but it's the Arizona Cities and Towns Week. So this is a little video that they've showed us.
Day and night, sun up to sundown. People who ensure the safety, protection, well-being, the convenience and enrichment. Those who live, work, and play in every city and town in Arizona are constantly at work. And thanks to each and every one of these services, many that you never think of, Arizona cities keep businesses at work, libraries open, traffic lights blinking, clean water flowing, and so much more, keeping life as we know it moving. They say that a city never sleeps, and thanks to Arizona Cities at Work, that has never been so true. Learn more about how your Arizona cities and towns work.
Thank you. Thank you, Rachel, for playing that. All righty, next item on the agenda under new business is consideration of award of a construction contract for professional and contracting service to facilities of soil, groundwater, and former Woody's fuel storage station. I know this has been a long process, and we're finally to this point. So, Mr. Johnson.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor and council members. The former Woody's fuel storage facility located at 180 North 11th Street has received several site investigations over the years to define the extent and magnitude of impacts from petroleum releases into the soil and groundwater. Upon acquiring the property, the city developed a site cleanup plan, and on November 2nd, 2021, the council approved Resolution 2021-32, authorizing the city to submit the cleanup plan and grant application to the Environmental Protection Agency. On September 7th, 2022, Sholo entered into a Brownfields Cooperative Cleanup Grant Agreement with the EPA in the amount of $409,000 with a cost share of $81,800 for a total project cost of $490,800. On September 14th, 2022, the city entered into a professional services agreement with Terracon Consultants in the amount of $35,000 to implement the initial tasks of the EPA agreement, which includes project planning and community outreach services. The final task, Task 3, outlined in the attached Terracon proposal, is for on-site remediation using bioaugmentation injections and monitor wells to measure the effectiveness of the bioremediation process scheduled to begin January 2024. Site work is based on a 2-week field duration with quarterly groundwater monitoring and confirmatory soil samples conducted through March 2025. Staff recommends approving the Terracon Consultants proposal and professional services agreement for Task 3 of the Woody's Project Cleanup Oversight at 180 North North 11th Street in an amount not to exceed $409,000. I'm available for any questions.
Mr. Johnson, do you mind explaining that process to us a little bit, how they're going to do this?
Yeah, Bill may need to help me out with this, but my understanding is based on their testing, they've targeted certain sites where they're going to drill or bore a hole, and then they're going to inject this bioremediation material in there, and it's supposed to treat the soil. That's a very, very basic. Anything you would like to add?
I think you covered it. But the bioremediation really is, they introduce a special bacteria that gets into the soils in the groundwater, and it actually digests the oil product that's left in the ground.
Questions or comments or motions? Why is everybody so shy?
I already made a motion tonight. I'll make this one.
I don't have it. Give us a minute. These tablets got to get moving a little quicker.
It's getting colder. They're a little slower.
Vice Mayor.
I move to approve the professional services agreement with Terracon Consultants for remediation of the Woody's fuel storage site in an amount not to exceed $409,000.
Thank you. I got a motion. I got a second. All those in favor of the motion? All those opposed? Same sign. Motion passed unanimously. Remediation. It's pretty tough with one eye. You got to kind of move a little bit off to one side. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All righty, next item on the agenda is consideration of acceptance of grant funds from Arizona State Department of Emergency of Military Affairs authorizing of associated budget transfers of hiring a police officer analysis. Chief Provost.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. On July 3rd, 2023, the Arizona Department of Emergency and Military Affairs awarded a grant to the Show Low Police Department in the amount of $584,722.20. The grant covers the associated cost of leasing 10 flock safety cameras and hiring a police analyst who will be responsible for deciphering large sets of data from the cameras to better assist law enforcement deployments and identify individuals who may commit or become a victim of crime. The cameras will help tie together other license plate reader technologies in our state and provide data to other law enforcement agencies combating drug trafficking. This grant has no match requirement. A quote for $145,000 has been received from Flock Safety for the installation and leasing of 10 license plate reader cameras for 5 years. It also includes a 5-year subscription to the advanced search option. The remaining $439,722.20 will be used to fund the salary and fringe benefits of a police analyst for 5 years. The cost of hiring a police analyst is approximately $79,400 per year. Staff recommends accepting the grant award from Arizona Department of Emergency and Military Affairs in the amount of $584,722.20 and authorizing the associated budget transfers and the hiring of a police analyst. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Chief, any questions, comments? Councilman also.
Yeah, if there's no other comments, I'll make a motion.
We got one comment down here.
Before you make your motion, Councilman Alsop, I just want to take the opportunity to thank Chief Provost as well as, I believe it's Shannon Adams, as well as other members of your staff who reached out and got this grant. I know that we've had several grants be awarded to the City of Show Low, the City of Show Low Police Department. I know GOHS, as well as we have 2 additional SROs this year because of grant funding opportunities. So whoever it is on our team, please give them our warmest thanks for doing such a great job this year. As far as it seems like we've received an astronomical amount of grants for not just for the City of Show Low, but for law enforcement specifically. So thank you, Chief, and for the diligent work you guys are doing on that.
Thank you, sir.
You know, I like to echo that too. I know it was about 5 or 6 months ago, you or Officer or Lieutenant Clark, I guess, proposed something on a grant and we got it back too. So I've been noticing, you know, just like I want to diddle Councilman Clark here is, it seems like you guys are going way and beyond above what the council or what our budgets are and everything else, and really going after grants to better our department. And we can see it, and and we notice that. So I just want to commend him, Councilman Clark, for saying the same thing. Is we appreciate what you guys are doing and the help that you do for this community. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And I'd like to say that, this is the work of, again, like Shannon Adams and Commander Westover and some of these others, a lot of individuals working very hard to go after these different grants and funding opportunities. So they've done a fantastic job. So thank you for recognizing them.
I was going to joke that we should just make Commander Westover do the job of this because he doesn't have anything else to do, but it sounds like he's out hustling, getting grants. So I'm going to take that snide comment back, Commander.
Sounds like he's doing a good job too.
Yeah, he's doing a good job getting grants, so I won't make that remark.
So I move to accept a grant fund for the Arizona Department of Energy and Military Affairs in the amount of $584,722.20. Authorize associated budget transfer and hire a police analyst.
I'll second it.
I got a motion, I got a second. All those in favor? All those opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
All righty, next item on the agenda is consideration of an award of a construction contract for airport hangar infrastructure improvements. City of Show Low project number A172321. Mr. Cup.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. City of Show Low solicited bids for infrastructure improvements at the south hangar area at the Show Low Regional Airport. The purpose of the project was to expand this area to accommodate the demand for additional hangars at the Show Low Regional Airport. The infrastructure will serve 10 new hangars ranging from 60 by 65 feet to 75 by 65 feet. The improvements include grading and paving for taxi lanes, water, sewer, and electric services, and a sewer lift station. The upfront construction costs will be paid by Big Dog Development in exchange for ground lease credits. The project was designed by the City of Show Low Engineering Department. The engineer's estimate was $660,000. It was publicly bid according to statutory requirements. 6 bids were received with the following results. Show Low Construction, $590,792.51. Apache Underground, $592,086. Conco Concrete Specialist, $640,014. Western Grade LLC, $697,503.45. W.W. Clyde and Company, $975,785. And Standard Construction, $954,930. And the bid tabulation is attached to your packets. Staff recommends awarding the contract for the airport hangar infrastructure improvements, City of Show Low project number A1723 2.1 to Show Low Construction in an amount not to exceed $590,792.51. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Cup. Apparently, we're slowing down a little bit on the mountain because last time we had this out, did we have none? Or one?
So we bid this the last time we bid this project, we received a single bid, and then that bidder backed out of the bid. This time I think we had 8 contractors attend the pre-bid, and we received 6 bids. So hopefully that's an indication that things are gonna get a little bit.
And the 2 companies at the bottom are still really busy.
They're apparently, yeah.
They're apparently very busy. Thank you, sir. Any other questions, comment?
I just, Mr. Cup, I'm assuming we've done work with Show Low Construction before, and you and your team are happy with them and the workmanship that they do. Great. And I'll make a motion if you're ready
Any other
for it.
questions?
I'll move to award the bid for the airport hangar infrastructure improvement, City of Show Low project number A-1723 2.1 to Show Low Construction, an amount not to exceed $590,792.51.
I'll second that. All those in favor of the motion? All those opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Thank you, sir. Next item on the agenda is consideration of amendments to the conditional use permit submitted by Compassionate Care of Arizona, Inc. Mr. Tregaskis.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. For those of you who been keeping track. This is my first meeting in several months.
Yeah, welcome back.
Thank you. I'm grateful to be able to be back and appreciate thoughts and prayers on my behalf. They were truly felt. At its regular meeting on June 4th, 2013, the Show Low City Council approved conditional use permit, or CUP 602-04-156, submitted on behalf of Green Hills Patient Center, Inc. to allow the sale of medical marijuana at 3191 South White Mountain Road. The council included 17 conditions as part of this approval, including the stipulation that hours of operation would be limited to 6 days a week from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. This condition was reviewed by the council at Green Hills' request on June 20th, 2017, in an effort to extend the hours of operation to 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. during the summer months, being from Memorial Day to Labor Day. At this meeting, the council unanimously voted to retain the hours of operation of 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. as previously approved. It's important to note that Green Hills Patient Center is no longer in operation within the city and is not associated with Compassionate Care of Arizona. On December 14th of 2021, the Planning and Zoning Commission approved conditional use permit 602-04-240, which allowed for a marijuana dispensary operated by Compassionate Care of Arizona, Inc. at 1350 North Penrod Road. Included in this approval was condition 15, which stated, quote, "The hours of operation are limited to 6 days a week from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. As part of the record, the Green Hills representative stated that they would be closed on Sundays. This condition was recommended by staff and approved by the commission in an effort to be consistent with conditions previously approved by the council related to hours of operation for Green Hills Patient Center. Compassionate Care has submitted a request to amend condition 15 of their conditional use permit to allow extended hours of operation, quote, from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday. All other conditions of approval would remain unchanged. After reviewing this request, the council may approve or deny the application to extend the hours of operation. Staff is available for questions. We also have representatives of the applicant available for questions at this time.
Do we have any questions or comments? Councilman Clark.
So, Justin, obviously, welcome back. It's great to have you back and to have you to be here. I know it's been a long journey, so we appreciate having you back, my friend. If we deny this tonight, is it just the conditions that are currently in effect would remain the same?
If the council chose to vote to deny this request to extend the hours as currently or previously approved, which would be from 9 to 6, Monday through Saturday, would remain in effect. We would recommend that if the council were to vote to deny this request, obviously the reason for that denial, that motion should be stated and should be made part of the record.
Do you want to add to that a little bit on what he just said, just so we understood? I understand what he meant, but can you kind of ad-lib to that just a little bit? I guess it's kind of like a liquor permit, correct? That's the way I looked at it today when we talked about it. If you deny it, they need to know seriously why you're denying it, something like that. So
what the council's concern is and how the condition is connected to that concern.
right. Any other questions or comments? Councilman Ossoff.
I think I have one to Anna. Okay, so back when Green Hills brought it to us and they wanted to change their time, we denied it, but they're not here anymore. But with us saying that, I believe what it was, and you can correct me or Morgan correct me if I'm wrong, we looked at regular pharmacy for regular medications and stuff like that they close at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. And, if you need your prescription or you need something filled, in advance, because I know just like me and probably Justin in the last few months, we know that we have to have some medication. And if I need to get there on time before 6 o'clock, then I need to get my fanny there and get my prescription filled. It doesn't for them to have to extend the hours or anything else. It's just my concern of if I want my prescription, that I need to go ahead and fill that. But isn't precedent setting, since we've already voted on that for Green Hills, even though they're not here, that it's a precedent setting for the council, that we've already made that decision that it'll stay open from 9 to 6 and Monday through Saturday?
The precedent, however, the current company has come before council asking the council to reconsider it. So council needs to make a determination what the reason is, what your concern is, and how a condition is connected to it. So precedent alone is not going to, just saying because we did it in the past, is not going to be sufficient.
And, you know, also if,
Let me interrupt so Justin can explain a little bit how that condition came into place, because I think it's important to understand that initial condition came into place.
Sure, if I can take a couple minutes. So a little bit of history on this. Back when Green Hills applied, it went for a conditional use permit. It went to the Planning and Zoning Commission. During the course of discussion with the Planning and Zoning Commission, the representative of the applicant made the stipulation that they would be willing to be open 7 days a week, 9 to 6. That is what was approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission. So 7 days, 9 to 6. That conditional use permit was appealed to the city council by two separate property owners. It originally came to the city council at one meeting, at which point the city council overturned the commission decision and voted to deny the application. They then reconsidered that at a later meeting, at which point a different representative for the Green Hills applicant was at the meeting. They indicated that they did not have a problem with the 9 to 6. They also indicated that they did not have a problem with Monday through Saturday, as they felt that Sundays should be reserved for family activities and different things like that. So the reason that we have the time frame specified that we do now, which is Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6, is primarily based off of stipulations made by the representatives of Green Hills. That condition was carried forward when Compassionate Care applied for their location. Staff made that recommendation to the Planning and Zoning Commission because we felt it was important to be consistent between the two different locations. We didn't feel it was the city's place to allow one individual business to have enhanced hours and not allow the other to have the same hours. We felt that the consistency was important, which is why that condition was recommended by staff for Compassionate Care's location and why the commission ultimately included that in there. So a little bit of background and history. I know we've got some new faces on council since this originally started again back in 2013. So,
Councilman Clark.
Justin, have we had any complaints about or any kind of reports of they're not in compliance with their conditional use permit since it's been in operation?
no, we do not have any reports, any information that would say that they violated their conditional use permit.
And can I ask a question of the chief? Chief, have we had any significant incidences at this location as far as reports for law enforcement of them issues arising, or have they caused any issues for your department? No, sir, none that I'm aware of. Okay, thank you. I just have some questions for the applicant when you're ready.
Yeah. Councilman also.
I guess what my question is, what's the difference for 2 hours? Why increase it for just 2 hours? Is there a big money factor in the 2 hours, or is it?
So the applicant is here. They can certainly expound on the answer. They did provide some information with their application. They would like to have the expanded hours. They feel that that gives people an opportunity to get off of work and get to the location before they close at 6 o'clock. They also feel that it's a little bit of a traffic issue with people trying to get there between the hours of 5 and 6, may create some congestion at this location as opposed to maybe spreading it out a little bit further. And mainly giving their employees and their customers a little bit more flexibility on time for shift work, and also being able to schedule going to the location. That's what I recall from the application. Again, the applicants here can certainly expound on that a little bit.
This may be for the applicant, but I have kind of a question. So I'm kind of concerned about the hours, the night, and the danger it could be with that, tied to that. So why couldn't we open, or why couldn't they do hours earlier, open earlier to, if they wanted to expand their hours from, 7 to 6 or something? Why is it where it was daylight and it would be less dangerous? And in my mind, is that a possibility?
So from the city's perspective, it would be a possibility with a code revision. Right now, city code actually states that hours of operation for a marijuana dispensary are limited to a maximum of 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. We don't have the option in city code for, say, a 24-hour operation or anything earlier than 9 a.m. or anything later than 9 p.m. And that's certainly something. We are doing a general revision of our zoning code. We certainly could take a look at expanding those hours to allow for a little bit earlier than what 9 a.m. Currently allows.
This also might be for the applicant, but had they experienced a hardship in serving their patients or their clients during those hours
I would defer that question, yes.
with the closing of Green Hills?
Let's bring, I think we have a few questions for the applicants. Whoever the representatives, if you can come forward, state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Mitchell Kay. I'm the general counsel and attorney for the applicant. My address is 1716 North California, Chicago, Illinois. So a little far.
Right down the street.
Yeah, just down the street. And first time in Show Low. It's fantastic. I have with me.
I'm David Householder, 2012 North Lake Breeze in Lakeside.
And also sitting back there is our director of compliance, Jeff Cox. So we're very compliance centric. To answer your question, yes, we've had to turn away people because the lines are getting so big and people are struggling to get to the store after work on time. The closing is what, from the westerly direction. We're having people coming, I think, an hour in most directions to get to our store, which, as you know, if you're driving and abiding by the speed limit, it can take some time.
Real quick before Councilman Clark, are these consistent? How many stores do you have? I mean, is this consistent times with all the other stores?
It's not actually. We usually operate, I think, until 9 p.m. in some states. We're in Illinois, Michigan, Arizona, and Ohio. So our hours are actually, I think, most limited here.
Well, the first question I was going to ask is, did you guys bring any samples?
I'm good.
They didn't bring it. Okay. I'm kidding.
Fine.
No, I think that Councilman Adams' question answered mine. Is what's the need for the extended 2 hours, as far as and why is it that you need that extra 2 hours? So.
And I'm happy to hand it over to Dave, who's there every day, doing a fantastic job servicing our customers, our patients. There's obviously the traffic concern, people rushing. We don't want people to rush to the store. We want to give them ample time. As the weather turns more inclement, we want to give them more time. We don't want people to rush. We're considered an essential service. Some people rely on coming to our store to get their medication, and we want to be able to provide that and not turn anyone away. I will hand it over to Dave to add on to that question if you have anything more to say.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we see this increase in traffic, both at lunchtime, people's trying to get in before, at 6 o'clock. They work till 5, they work till 6. So we've definitely seen a lot of traffic, pretty hectic around lunchtime, people trying to come in, longer lines then. Same thing at close. People will come in, we'll turn people away that arrive after 6 o'clock for our permit. But again, it's sometimes very difficult for people who drive over an hour to visit us.
Councilman Adams, I kind of agree with you because I think that this conversation came up 10 years ago or 11 years ago when we talked about this, and council members back then were concerned about daytime, nighttime, and so it was kind of like that. And I know going in, if it was summertime, we wouldn't, it'd still be daylight, but now going into winter. So I think that was a huge concern back when this came up. And obviously, like Mr. Jagaska said, we can think about this in the future, but we have to make a decision on this one, obviously, now. Vice Mayor?
Do you have any numbers on how much you're selling prescription-wise versus,
Recreational.
thank you, for recreation?
I would say that right now it's probably about 30% medical with our current mix
So the majority is recreational.
at this time, yes.
Important context is that at times, the renewal for a medical card can be burdensome from a price perspective, and often discounts end up evening out what one would pay. So some people decide to go the easier route and not renew a medical card. And we see this in every state that we're in, by the way.
All those 18-year-olds with chronic pain.
Don't get rid of my headache.
Yeah.
Councilman also.
A couple of questions, just to kind of key off of some of the stuff you've been saying. You said that some of the people, hour and a half away. Isn't there a place in Snowflake and Heber and Holbrook to pick up, or just outside of Heber? I know there's one outside of Heber on 377.
No, they closed down.
Did they close that one down? Okay, so there was that, okay. In the information you're giving us now, I mean, you're verbally giving us, but do you have raw data where we could see your raw data of who's been not accepted, or who you had to kick away, or how many people you have standing in line, or what your sales are, or recreation to prescription? I mean, I can hear you say your numbers, but until I physically see them, I'm not saying I don't trust them, but I like to see what the numbers are.
Say on a typical day, we easily turn away 5 to 10 people. When we shut our door at 6, inside the store already, we generally have at least 20 to 30 people still trying to transact at that time.
You don't have any raw data paperwork saying, here's how many this week, this month, any of that kind of stuff?
We do have paperwork for like numbers of people that have been served, that we have in the store after 6 that arrived prior to 6. It's hard to keep an exact number of people coming in the lot and then just turning around and leaving because they see our doors shut already.
And I totally understand. It's hard for me to put numbers together if I don't see numbers. I mean, we can talk about all kinds of different things, but if the numbers aren't there where we can really see them, then just speculation that we are missing, that you guys are.
Raw data, it's, as David mentioned, we're super busy, so there's not necessarily a dedicated person, or hasn't been since Green Hills has closed, where we're sitting out there tallying. Happy to do so and get you more numbers, but there's been, at least over 200 people that have been either transacting once they're in the store when the store technically should close, or are pushed away.
Okay, thank you.
Manager.
Just clarify, I want to make sure that, are you the only dispensary that's up here in Navajo County now?
So the closest dispensaries I know of, there is one that just opened in Springerville. The next closest dispensaries would be Globe and Payson, which are considerable distance.
You're the only one that you know of in Navajo County?
I think there's one in Winslow, Morgan. Yeah, there is one in Winslow, just right off of I-40.
We're in Taylor until we came down here.
Do you know when Green Hills closed?
September 13th, right?
No, before that.
Before that.
Yep. Closed just at the end of August. So I don't have the exact date. I want to say it was a Thursday.
So I was thinking, now that city manager said that about the hour away, hour and a half away, not just the distance of traveling, now I get it. If there's the closest ones in Winslow or Springerville, so that hour makes a ton of sense now, because there's a distance that we have to have, obviously, these dispensaries anyway, so. Any other questions or comments, or if there is any kind of need whatsoever to go into executive session, this item is, if you think there's a need for it, but I think it's been well explained by city manager and our attorney, and is there any other questions? Councilman also.
Well, Mayor, the only reason I would probably even look at denying it is just because of the raw data that they're not producing anything. It's just hearsay stuff that we have no idea if it's true or if it's not true, until they can pursue that and give us the information, I wouldn't mind, approving it if I had the information where I could really look at, but just to take a word that we need to do it for 2 hours because we're missing this and not having the raw data. Any business owner will have the raw data and show us the raw data and say, here, this is the reason why we're doing this. And that's the only reason I would go to deny it.
I just may interject, got to make sure that our conditions are connected to our concerns. So if the times are connected to your concern.
Yes, because of not having the raw data to tell us that, hey, we're missing 50 people or we're denying 30 people every day or every 2 days because we're not open until 8. If they could show us the raw data of that, I would be more open to look at that and say, yeah, okay, I see where you're missing that and you're probably losing some money. But if you don't have that raw data and it's just hearsay, it's hard for me to say, yes, I'll go with that.
Any other questions or comments? Councilman Adams.
I think I would like to go into executive session. I'd like to get some better advice from legal counsel, so I would like a little more information from her.
Can I add one more thing before you break? Fair request. It's also impossible to know how many people would not scramble to the store before it closes and would much rather prefer to go at a later time. Even if it's one person that needs their medication or that we could service, might be a losing business proposition, but it's important to us that they have the time to safely get to our store and get home.
Okay.
I'll move that we go into executive session or see legal counsel on this matter.
I have a motion. I need a second.
Second.
A second. All those in favor going to executive session? Motion passed. We'll return soon.
For your consideration, appreciate it.
Ready? Okay, at this time, we'll recess back into our regular council meeting and come back to the council for any questions or comments, and thank you for what we did in there. Appreciate that. Questions or comments or motions?
I'd just like to ask the applicant to come up. I have a question before I make a motion, just to see if they would, how they would feel about this. I know that there's obviously money involved in this is business decisions and stuff. So one of the things that I think of is, I think there's a lot of concerns around the marijuana industry, whether it's medical or recreation, and some are valid, some are obviously a fallacy. One of the concerns is obviously, that there's that opening up that 2-hour window for for business to operate from 6 to 8. If we extended this, would you be, one of the things that I'm thinking of is potentially we have like a 1 year, that we renew this for 1 year, and then we have staff look at it after a year, and then they potentially, if they don't have any issues, if there's no violations under the conditional use permit or anything like that, they have the ability to close it out, and then maybe every 5 years they review it and they, kind of move forward with that. Is that something that you would be agreeable to, and you wouldn't have any problem with that if I put that stipulation on the conditional use permit?
So obviously, we would love, an unmitigated approval.
Mhm.
We're relatively new neighbors, and we want to be neighborly. We want to be good citizens and patrons of Show Low. So we want to work with you. Is the point. So if that was the requirement to get 9 to 8 and then reassess after a year, we're happy to do so, because it's very important to us, no matter what jurisdiction we're in, that we're good neighbors.
Okay. And so what I would say is, and I think I'm going to make that motion. What I would say is, obviously after a year, then, we want staff to handle that. We don't want you to have to come back before us. And obviously, if there's anything else with any of the conditions, that could trigger this being brought before the council for revocation or not. And then, if like 5 years down the road, you guys are like, we really don't like this hanging over our head, you could obviously petition at that point to have that removed. And, you could come in and say, hey, we've been good neighbors and stuff like that. But I think that it would help alleviate some of the concerns, so that the council and some of the constituents still feel like, there's, that, we're giving you that opportunity for those extra 2 hours. But if issues arise or something like that, that we would have the ability to bring it back and deal with that situation.
Sure. I would ask if there is an issue that we do have the opportunity to discuss. There are times that we've seen over our experience where someone hears something or there's a report and there might be a different perspective to it. So just have that opportunity to speak. And if you ultimately decide that it was egregious and it requires revocation, then you would have that power to do so.
Any other comments, questions? Motion, Councilman Clark?
Yeah, I'll move to approve the amendments to the conditional use permit 602-04240 submitted by Compassionate Care of Arizona Incorporated to allow for an extended hours of operation for a 1 year period. At the 1 year period, I would authorize staff to review this conditional use permit. If the conditional use permit has not received, if there are no issues with the extended hours of operation, then our director of the Planning and Zoning Department will be able to extend that conditional use permit for an additional 5 years, and thereafter review the hours of operation to ensure that there's compliance and there's no substantial issues with the extended hours of operation.
That's a long one.
Does that work for you, Kathy?
Kathy's going.
Great.
Are you sure?
Does that work for you, gentlemen? Does that work for you, Mr. Tregaskis? And everybody understands the clear intent of what I'm saying tonight?
Thank you. Appreciate that. I have a motion. I'll go ahead and second that motion. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion, raise your hand. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passed unanimously. Thank you guys for your patience.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Consideration.
All righty, next item on the agenda is summary current events. Council members?
It was on the agenda earlier, but I just wanted to express to our clergymen across our communities my gratitude for, and to the communities of Show Low and the town of Pine Top Lakeside. This community fast is such a wonderful event, and it just warms my heart that we do that and we participate in that, and it's probably the best event that we all put on every year. And I also want to thank staff for watching over the construction of the new restroom out at the city park. It looks really great.
Anybody else? Councilman Olson.
Yes, just wanted to announce that Main Street is having a trick or treat October 28th. Entertainment, food trucks, kid zones, games, slides, and candy for all. So that's from 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Here, I think it's over at the Hatch Motor Company this year. So Main Street is putting that on. I want to, I don't know if anybody's watched Facebook where you've seen Grace on there talking with Sholo TV, talking about Sholo in October. Great publication, shows all the different things that's going on, and I want to thank Grace for going on with Sholo TV and putting that out. A lot of people look like they're having fun doing it. Also want to thank the Public Works, the Aquatic Center, and the Park and Recreation for the scarecrow in the meadow. Unbelievable how many people are down there every day looking at those scarecrows and trying to figure out which one goes to which department and what company might have put it out there. So great job for those guys putting it together. It's always a neat thing what the Park and Recreation and Aquatic Center can put together and really showcase Sholo. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I feel like I've done a lot of talking tonight, so I'll be short. I don't like hearing myself talk, and I'm sure nobody on this dais here wants to hear me talk any more than normal, but but I want to echo what the Vice Mayor said and what Councilman also talked about the community fast. I'm sure unless you have your head buried in the sand, all of us are aware of what's going on in the Middle East right now, and whatever your political views on it are, it's atrocious. It's a terrible, terrible situation. And I look at the community fast and I think about civic leaders, academic leaders, ecclesiastical leaders coming together, utilizing government resources, academic resources, and I think that our founding fathers envisioned something like this happening. I think that the fasting is not something that's new. It's something that's found in the Old Testament. It's not a novel concept. It's nothing that was that's brought about because of some type of genius idea. It's as old as religion itself. But we've been able to come together and do something good for our community, for the people. The recipients of the money, there's no respecter of persons for that. It doesn't matter what religion you are, what race you are, what national origin you are. And it's just something that's really unique to Sholo, and I think it's an example of what could happen as far as neighbors getting along with neighbors, people looking at other people and recognizing that we have far more in common than we have differences, and being able to, to see the human element of each other. And I just want to thank each of you tonight as a council member for backing this. I want to thank staff for making this a priority. I want to thank our community members for doing this. And it's little things like this that helps humanize so that we don't look at our neighbors based upon their religion or based upon their skin color or based upon their gender or any of those kind of things, and we can truly have love and compassion for each other, and we can talk about community in a real way, not just something that we give lip service to. So I want to thank each of you who participate in that. The world truly needs more of this, far more than we need what's going on in the Gaza Strip tonight. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Clark. Anybody else? City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Just wanted to tell you about a couple of things upcoming for our Halloween-related events. On Wednesday, October 25th, the Recreation Department will host a trick-or-treat trail for kids ages 10 and under from 6 to 8 p.m. at the city park. And then on Thursday, October 26th at 1:30 p.m., the Turn of the Card Community Center is hosting a pumpkin pie eating contest for ages 18 and up. And then Councilman Alsop addressed the Halloween trunk-or-treat on Saturday, October 28th. In our public works projects, we have the city contractors paving on 6th and 5th Place in the McNeil Acres and Nicholas subdivision this week. Project's about halfway completed. And then on Fools Hollow, we're doing a water line project down there near 27th Avenue in the Wash. And then hopefully we received word today that ADOT's working on a few concrete repairs, and hopefully they'll be done on the Deuce of Clubs by the end of this month. Only 2.5 years into it, but anyways, we appreciate our city's patience as we make these improvements around the city.
Kind of chuckled over that, and I had a business owner call me today about some drainage issues with ADOT that's coming onto their property. I said, yeah, they'll take care of it. That's all I said. He's like, what? They will. I forgot to mention that today a few of Councilman Alsop, city manager, went over to the ribbon cutting for the new skill center at MPC, and man, I'm telling you, what a state-of-the-art building. That's just incredible. If you get a chance to go over there, they welcome visitors, but you need to stop by and see this. This is absolutely amazing. What NPC's doing in our community is amazing. You know, and I forgot they opened up a daycare center in Winslow. They're part of that program too. So NPC's doing amazing things right now. They're going to add on, I believe, next summer to their main building. But if you get a chance, stop by the skills center. It blew me away. I've been in the trade business my whole life, so walking into that and watching all those kids, and it was just amazing. So appreciate that. No more seconds. Get your calendars out or get ready to write some dates down. We got some things that scheduling meetings.
Yeah, so first of all, council, I'd remind you of our retreat, which is next week on Wednesday, October 25th at 9 a.m. We're going to be at the Public Safety Building in the Darren Reed Room. Just remind you of that and make sure that you can all come to that. As we were looking at our calendar for our upcoming city council meetings, generally, our third meeting in November is not the week of Thanksgiving, but this year it is. So we just want to make sure that if on November 21st would be our council meeting that night, but if you guys have plans to be gone for Thanksgiving week, one thing that the mayor and I kind of talked about is if you also look at your calendar, we normally don't have a second meeting in December, but this year our first meeting in January will be on January 2nd, which is right after New Year's Day. So we're possibly thinking that if you guys think it works in your schedule, that we would maybe not have the meeting the week of Thanksgiving, and then maybe do 2 meetings in December on the 5th and the 19th, and then maybe not have that first meeting in January. But you guys tell us what works in your schedules. I don't know if you guys had planned to take time off for Thanksgiving and or around New Year's, but those 2 meetings kind of conflict with that a little bit if you are planning to be gone.
So maybe look at your schedule in the next few days and let us know so we can cancel, or I don't know if you can take a consensus now. I didn't see anybody looking at calendars, but maybe in the next few days, let staff know what you guys think about that.
Just get with Rachel or I and just let us know what kind of works in your schedule. Just wanted you to look ahead to those.
And if you don't, then we'll just kind of go with what we talked about. So we're going to give you that option.
Yep.
All right. Is there anything else? Is that it, city manager? Well, if there's no more business before this council, I'll adjourn this meeting. Thank you, guys.